Yes, this isn't deja vu. Here we are again, because this guy has obviously perfected the art of being a jerk on ice. So, when there's content, well, you've got to capitalize. Am I right? In case this is your first time indulging a little and watching Chucky do what he does best, I suggest you check out part 1 of Matthew's jerk moments before proceeding to the continuation, as it's probably going to make the most sense that way. Anyways, let's get dirty, shall we? Remember back to Tkachuk's rookie year where he earned himself a 2-game suspension for purposefully, without a doubt, elbowing Drew Doughty in the face? This is not only a player that intentionally went after a player here without the puck behind the play, but also Doughty hasn't been Tkachuk's only target. In fact, another Western Conference opponent in Rantanen has also taken the brunt of Tkachuk's antics over the years. We can all recall the time where he jumped the winger behind the play, driving his elbow into his head while, applying his weight. Therefore, taking all of this into account, that Tkachuk has not only elbowed intentionally in the past other players, but has also previously bullied Rantanen really for no apparent reason, it's extremely possible that this hit was also intentional, that took place during a regular season meeting around the start of the 2019-2020 season as well. The Avs were hemmed in the Flames zone, which probably frustrated Tkachuk, which motivated him to take another senseless run at a vulnerable opponent. While targeting the head, no in-game play was assessed and no supplemental discipline was dealt to the forward in result. Prior to the game that took place in Calgary last January, Matthew Tkachuk was known as a pest, sure, but he hadn't yet been dubbed Turtle Boy, a nickname that would come to haunt number 19 to this day. Now, before this particular and very eventful Battle of Alberta, there was a decent amount of hostility between tough guy Zach Cassian and the Flames' top agitator. But on the night of January 11th, the fire would be ignited and a bitter rivalry would finally present itself. Throughout the close contest between the two teams, Tkachuk had been purposefully targeting Cassian up to this point, as he waited for the forward, who is known to have quite the temper, to finally snap. But by the end of the second, following a questionable hit at the hands of Tkachuk, imagine that, Cassian had decided that he'd finally had enough and began seeing red. But instead of getting up and defending his honor, Tkachuk decided to respond without responding, while, crawling into his shell. And thus, Turtle Boy was inconceived. Even though Tkachuk had clearly been ragdolled following the game, the forward decided to taunt his rival just a little more, and began a war of words, saying, if he doesn't want to get hit, stay off the tracks. Caught him there 3 times, but you'd think he'd learn after the first. But if he wants to react like that, then we'll take the power play, the game winner, and we'll move up to first place, he says. Back to the bubble, where karma was apparently live and well, as you all know what happened shortly after this incident took place in the next series. Anyways, this looks a little familiar. Oh right, I guess Tkachuk is kind of setting the bar near where Matt Cook previously left it, as a forward made a similar play that also took out an opposing star player, with nearly the same tactic. This time, though, the unfortunate victim was Mark Scheifele. As Scheifele was making his way into the Flames zone, Tkachuk, who looked like he was going to, just check his opponent, as they made their way to the boards, did much more damage than your average check would. Not saying Calgary's agitator did all of the damage, as number 55 went into the boards awkwardly to start, but the skate tap was kind of just icing on the cake, in my opinion, for Tkachuk in the end. This, of course, had Winnipeg up in arms, as Jets captain Blake Wheeler decided to let the perpetrator know how he felt regarding the hit by talking with his fists. But for number 19, this was only the beginning of the backlash to come from the incident, as Jets head coach Paul Maurice didn't hold back during a post-game interview when asked about it, saying, "It was intentional," he says. "It was a filthy, dirty kick to the back of the leg. You can't see it on the camera feed, but if you take the blue line feed and zoom in, he went after the back of his leg. Could have cut his Achilles. Could have ended the man's career. It's an absolutely filthy, disgusting hit," Maurice says. Tkachuk later denied having any intent to injure the forward. Regardless, no penalty was given, and no post-game discipline has ever been dealt to him in result. So, you might be questioning as to why this one was so high. Well, to me, intentionally launching yourself into a goalie that has tons of equipment on, that can't exactly fend for themselves is, well, kind of a new low, even for this guy. Anyways, the confrontation came about during the remaining seconds of the final frame of play against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Tkachuk, he was known as one of the best net front presence players, was at the net following the Flames pulling their goaltender for the extra man. So prior to Tkachuk falling on Campbell, he was, just trying to generate a chance in the way he knows best. But instead of, just letting the goalie cover the puck like a normal person and then trying again, Tkachuk had very different plans. Out of potential frustration or just wanting to stir things up, number 19 decided to let Campbell feel the full effects of his body weight by toppling down onto the netminder and driving his knee into the back of Campbell's neck. Following the contact, Campbell could be seen wincing in pain and struggling at times to keep his composure. Now, for all of you people that say this was unintentional and, he was quote-unquote tripped, I urge you to take into account and context all of the previous incidents that he's been involved in and try and see it from another angle and perspective. Following this play, no in-game discipline was dealt to Tkachuk in result.